This is the Mrs. Volfie from Our Half Acre Homestead. Let's make some suet cakes for our poultry. Okay folks, what I have here is I have two big aluminum foil roasting pans. And the reason I've got such big ones is because here is all my suet from when we butchered the goats and the deer this year. So normally when I render my suet, I boil it and then strain it, and I let the suet cool and rise to the top, and I take it off in a plate to make soap. But these are suet cakes for my birds. So I'm not going to be taking the meat out or anything, because in wintertime they can't get out and scratch. They can't get worms and bugs and stuff to give them their added protein. Plus they need the extra fat. If you want to render your suet for soap, go over to my video from suet to soap, the whole hot process. And for that video, click right here. Click on that box right there, and that'll take you right to the other video. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to open up these bags that I've saved in the freezer, and you can see that it is ground and that there is some meat in it, and that looks suspiciously like lard, but we're going to I don't need any lard right now, so the lard I have, the pig fat I have ground up in the freezer can wait until next harvest, and then I'll have enough to make some lard. But I'm just going to put these, there's my oven, and it is set at 275 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these balls of ground suet right in these roasting pans. I'm going to put them in the oven, and I'm going to just let them render, because I'm not going to be straining it, and I'm going to be adding seeds and all kinds of stuff to it. But we've got to cook it first. Alright, so when I have these ready for the oven, we'll be back. So I'm going to say I probably have about 15 pounds of suet and bits of ground meat here. There's one pan here and one pan here. And these are going to go in the oven until the fat renders down and the meat is cooked at 275 degrees for probably a couple hours. Here are my pans of suet. Now it looks like a lot of meat, and you would be right, but there's a lot of grizzle in there too. But remember folks, chickens and turkeys are descended from velociraptors. They love meat. That's why they eat worms and bugs and stuff. Alright, so I've sieved out some of the meat, and I'm putting it in these bowls in the fridge, and I'll take a half a bowl each day, once or twice a week, and mix it with my dog's kibble to give them a winter boost. So, let's make our suet cakes. So all I'm going to do here is, here I have a cup of ground eggshell. What I did was I saved all my eggshells for a long time, and when I had 3 or 4 dozen eggshells, I just toasted them on a cookie sheet in the oven, and I ground them in my magic bullet. And I'm going to divide this between the suet cakes. I have one pan here just for Ma and Pa kettle, because there's only 2 of them. But one of these is going to my laying hens, and one is going to my 4 turkeys in the one pen, and the other one is Ma and Pa kettle. And we're just going to stir this in so it's nicely mixed through. You can't see the whole process because I got several pans on the go here, and now I'm just going to take some scoops of scratch grain, and I'm going to mix them right in here. And once this is all mixed, Papa's going to put these out on the freezer in the porch to chill overnight, and they'll get solid. And then he can give a pan to the laying hens, and a pan to the big turkey pen, and a pan to Ma and Pa kettle. What this does is it makes their bodies work less for their protein, their minerals. Oh, this grain's cold, so it's solidifying right away. In the winter time, when you get, you know, minus 20 degrees Celsius temperatures, it doesn't matter what you do, these animals have to work for every ounce of energy they get. So what happens is they don't get as much out of their food because they're burning it off while they eat it to try and digest it. So if we add some extra protein, extra minerals, and extra fat into their diet, they are going to be able to stave off some of the cold a whole lot easier than they would if they were just eating grain. Now, for all those folks who are going to bitch at me about animal byproducts in my chicken food, I need to remind you that this suet was from my goats and the deer we hunted. This is not some no-name bunch of suet from some slaughterhouse. I harvested it and ground it and froze it myself. And this is going to need some more grain. So when I have these all done, I'll be back. There we go. 2 nice big suet cakes. One for the chickens, one for Whitey and his harem of hens, and one for Ma and Pa Kettle. And 4 to 6 servings of meat to mix with my doggy's kibble. Nothing gets wasted if you use it properly. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead saying suet cakes. Meatloaf for chickens.